Yes, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. I am your host, Justin. And if you're watching us on YouTube, yes, I've colored my hair yet again. I've returned back to the blonde. And you know who else has returned? My fellow co-host, Colby. Colby, man, how are you doing today?
I'm here. I'm jealous, man. I'd color my hair, but there's not much of it left. So
Yeah, dude,
I just all fall out for that.
I've been kind of thinking about it, and I was just like, man, fuck it. I saw a picture of Torres, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna color it today.
I love that. I love that era, dude. That was so cool. We went through this it was like long hair, highlights, and
yeah, dude. Highlights, long hair, headbands, long sleeves.
Long sleeves. That was a cool trend. And then
Bring it back.
For a while, it was like fades and like really like gelled. You remember that era?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and you remember when everybody's doing like the like super gelled faux hawk with like the mullet in the back and then the lineup?
Yes, yeah.
Or like
Cristiano.
Ronaldo, Beckham, yeah,
Yep.
that era. All right, Colby, speaking of eras, what is your jersey for this episode? We're on episode 35, I think.
Yeah, 35. We made it. I picked Leicester City 1920. They had 1920, dude.
Like
It's
100 something years ago?
1920 when the club was established. No. 2019, 2020. Because I got to get these years right, bro. Because I'm like,
Jesus, bro. I was like, gone. I'm like,
Bro,
that's some homework.
I had to like blow the dust off the history books, go to the public library. Nah, dude. So this one is it's kind of actually similar to the Chelsea ones from back in 2012. Like after I think it was when they won the Champions League. Anyways, so yeah, Leicester City was Puma when they won. I want to say that was like 2015, and then they ended up switching over to Adidas.
Okay.
And this one, it's got the gold Adidas stripes. It's got kind of checkered blue. It's got the King Power. It looks really sick.
Okay, nice choice. It's funny that you mentioned Chelsea because my kit is actually that 2012, 2013 Chelsea kit.
Nice.
Where they won Europa. Was it Europa? Or was that Champions League? I think they won.
They won the Champions League in 2012, like in the spring.
So maybe this is the one. Maybe they wore that jersey after they won Europa. I don't know.
Or the summer. Whatever,
I'm not a Chelsea fan. But I love that kit. The gold accents I thought was so awesome. I always remember seeing the gold Torres on the back. And that's like one of my favorite jerseys.
Dude, do you remember, like, that was like the most cheesed UCL, like not the final, but like the road to the final where they played Barcelona and then they all kind of parked the bus.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then there was a goal where they fed it up to Torres and he dribbled it like from his own half all the way down to score. Like that was a freaking...
That's where I think JT got a red card and then it wasn't supposed to be a red card and Barcelona should have had a couple cards. Yeah, that one's under a lot of scrutiny. I know that.
Yeah. Chelsea's Champions Leagues are weird because that was Roberto Di Matteo who won them that.
Yeah.
And he was just an interim manager. I don't even remember who it was that got fired to replace him.
I think it was Andres Villas-Boas.
Oh yeah, Villas-Boas, bro. That was Jose's like right-hand man. And they were like, oh, this guy, he's gonna be like the young Jose. You ever heard his name again?
No.
Yeah, same.
The only time I hear his name is like when people like dunk on him about Chelsea and like how terrible he was.
Yeah, he was bad. But well, the weird thing is it happened again. So Frank Lampard had that Chelsea team in 21, and then he got axed, and then Tuchel took them again all the way to like the UCL final. And like he wasn't interim; he was going to be the manager, but
yeah, like
he kind of rode off that for a little bit.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Like as bad as Frank was, the winners were all his signings that year. So
yeah,
but yeah. Not a Chelsea fan, but I do love that kit.
Yeah, good kit.
All right, Colby, so let's get into this today. We have a bit of a mix-up. You know, there's not really much going on boot release in the boot world, so we're just going to talk about some of our own stuff. So why don't you lead us off with what you want to talk about today?
Yeah, there was one big news item that happened, and we'll get into it. It's going to be the main topic for today. But, dude, I had a pickup game yesterday. Okay. This is probably my third, maybe fourth time playing in the F50s, and I would have thought I'd broken these bad boys in by now. You know, I would have broken the horse, as it were. But dude, I'm still getting a lot of pain here in the heels. Like both heels now have blisters. I tried your advice. I did Band-Aids, a couple layers of KT tape, and then I wore some thick socks, and it still hurt.
Just rubbing.
Yeah, and then so like and on the top too, man, like that. It's a good boot, it's a good material, but like right here on my toes because it sits so close to the foot.
Yeah,
getting some pain there as well. So, but what's weird is, dude, I've never played better. I'm playing so well, but my feet hurt so bad.
Maybe it's one of those things like all the pain is like making your adrenaline and everything go.
Maybe
So you're just like running on all cylinders.
Yeah, the heel blisters are the worst because it's like it's constant. Like there's you can't get away. You know, like if you kind of hurt your knee or something, you can kind of like it'll go away after a while. But the heel blisters, it just feels like it's digging in.
Yeah. I get blisters on my big toes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually get them like when I wore the GT2, I got it on the bottom of my foot, like on the I don't know what that part of your foot is called, but it's like the part right below your toes. Your forefoot?
Oh yeah, like the ball of your foot, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I got like a big old like $50 just like skin flap ripped off, and that one never goes because you got to walk.
Well,
so,
that's weird
that one just doesn't go away.
You're a heel striker, so I feel like that'd be weird. I feel like you'd have to run on your toes, like that thing that you can't do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
that thing I don't
know.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I'm a heel striker because we had our first outdoor game Friday and we lost, but my heels were so sore the next morning because the ground is just so hard.
Yeah. Texas, bro.
What are you gonna do?
Anyways, dude. So, because he's been beating my feet up so bad, I took your advice. I took Lockhart's advice.
Okay.
Last night, I'm sitting there. I can't go to sleep. It's almost midnight. I buy the Messi gold boots because there's still some pairs left.
Okay.
In low quantity. Yeah. So I get these bad boys in FG.
Okay.
And I'm real excited. I go to sleep excited. I text you in the morning and say, Justin, I did it. I listened to you again, bro. I'm going to get some comfortable F50s. Like, you know, I might keep these. I might sell. Just depends on like what the funds are looking like. And then all of a sudden we get news like 12 hours after I buy the boots that there's going to be another pair of Messi boots.
Yep.
Like what the heck, bro?
Colby will insert a better picture on screen.
I will. No, you only get my phone. But what is it because I finally caved and bought them that they did this to me? Like, how could they do this to me?
It's because you know that Adidas and all these brands have like a weekly release, and you wait so long to buy a pair of boots that when you finally pull the trigger, they're like, oh, it's time for a new one.
Right, and all it does is create more indecision, anxiety in me that I already have. Because I was telling you, I was like, dude, I kind of want the Messi Golds. I kind of want some of the Endrick Tequilas. I still want to try the Puma Kings on a really big discount at some point. And I said, you know what? I love the F50s. I love the Hybrid Touch. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So now I feel like I should have waited a little bit longer.
See, you. Okay, I just want to point out to everybody that's listening, if you go back to last week's episode, I literally told Colby, he was like, I love these F50s. These are the ones. And I was like, I'll give you like 2 weeks and then you're going to have something new. You didn't even make it a week, bro. You didn't even make it 1 week.
Justin, my feet hurt so bad, dude. They hurt so bad. I just want to feel, you know, I'm playing well.
The other issue is that you're not letting your feet heal. Like, you still keep playing even though you have like horrible blisters.
Yeah. What am I supposed to say when the pickup time comes around? No?
No? I'm resting.
I always want to play, dude. Like,
dude, I feel you.
Yeah. But yeah, so what do you think of these new F50s? I know you're not a huge...
I mean, they're fine. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care about any Messi boot. I probably never will care about a Messi boot. Like, nah, they're fine. You love them. So I'm like, I'm happy for you. Oh, your light went off. So I think you have a ghost.
That's okay.
It's the ghost. But yeah, the thing is, I called them the Hulk boots because the purple is like, but then you show me that sole plate, and that bright green is like, that's bad, bro.
I like it, dude. The only thing I don't like about these boots, okay, so it's a little mix match on the purples. Like there's the purple of the tongue, which looks like it's like a part of the chameleon colorway, the first release of the F50, and then so are the stripes. But then there's almost like this lighter purple on the toe box, kind of going out like where the black pieces are here. It's all like this light purple, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling that.
Well, just the old F50 colorways that use that same design, like the old F50s, I think they kind of had a gradient, if I remember right. So it'd be like a pink would go into a more vibrant pink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do think they did, and I think they used to have like a lighter blue that would go into a couple shades darker. So I think that I might be remembering this wrong. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure that they did that back then.
Okay, and yeah, that's a good point. So maybe it is a tribute to that, just kind of like they like attribute other things. Like they just did the what were we talking about last week? The reemergence pack, and that was supposed to be like a battle pack, but it wasn't quite the battle pack.
Yeah.
So I want to let you know what was going through my head on this purchase, man.
Okay.
You have the Roteros of the Predators, which seems like, unless they release another fusion skin model of the Predator, is going to be a once in a generation, like off boot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be like the most desired Predator that they've done.
Okay.
I was thinking that the same thing was going to be this boot, and I didn't want to miss out again because I missed out on the Rotero. And I didn't want to miss out on the Hybrid Touch F50s.
Okay.
Well, lo and behold, as soon as I pull the trigger, there's another. So do you think that these are the only two we're going to get? Do you think every single time they release a Messi boot, F50 boot now, we're going to get Hybrid Touch? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think that's a his thing. And I think that's what's going to kind of separate them from the regular F50 releases. Like, wasn't it his Nemesis that used to... the only difference I think was it had the Gambit Track sole plate that James loves.
That's what James keeps complaining about
compared to the torsion frame. So maybe I think that might be like his thing. You know what I mean? The burrito tongue and then the Hyper Touch. So I'm sure that you will probably get another. I'm gonna say 4 or 5 Messi colorways before this generation ends. So it's one of those ones where this is like where I'm like. If you don't really love it, like love the colorway, I'm sure if you wait, there will be another colorway that you end up loving that will come out, and it'll be the exact same.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do you think that we will, before this generation of the Pred is done, get another fusion skin upper for that, or do you think that ship sailed?
I think
in terms of like another Rotero.
I think it's done.
It's done.
I mean, I think it would be smart, but the problem is the Rotero was an homage to the old, what was it, Euro Pulses back in the day. So now that the tournament's done, I don't know what they would pay homage to. Now, we've seen leaks of that OG Mania colorway, so maybe they would do something like that, but I haven't seen anything in the pipeline, leak-wise or rumor-wise, to think that they will do anything else fusion skin-wise with this Pred.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think they'll just, like we've talked about, kind of potentially carry it on to the next generation.
Yeah.
I like this Messi boot. I mean, the gold ones are already coming, right?
Yeah.
So I can see those in hand. Sometimes boots look different in hand, although I already have a pretty good picture of what they will look like.
They look just like that. I've seen them.
Yeah, and like I've always said, like, credit to Adidas for not cheaping out on the lower models. Like, this is the same upper material. It's just going to have grip elements whenever they come in. I know that Andrew Lockhart loves them. I think that I will end up liking them better than the regular F50, even though I am playing very well on these. The sole plate is, I think, just one of the best things I like about it. It's aggressive enough, but you still feel very nimble, like you can kind of turn and move and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Even with the Predator and the Control Frame 2.0, I really liked it. It's very stable, but there was just some things I wasn't willing to try.
Yeah, for sure.
That I'll find myself doing in the F50, and I'm like, okay, all right, I guess I can do that. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. No, I mean, I hope that you kind of find a boot that you, because like for me and everybody who follows me or knows us, like the Rotero is kind of like, I feel like I'm like captain of that shit. You know what I mean? I like champion that boot super hard, and it's always my go-to. It's my favorite. And there's like other things where, like, this past weekend I kind of experimented and we're switching out boots during halves and stuff. But like, I want you to find a boot sooner rather than later that you can like champion, and you're like, this is the one. Because I would love, like, let's say you get the gold Messi FGs, you absolutely love them. 2 colorways later, something comes out you love. You're like, I want to buy this boot because I know I like it. Like, I would get another Rotero if they had another colorway. Like it could like what's that reemergence one right now? Let's say hypothetically they made a Rotero version reemergence, like those same terrible colors. I would probably still buy it because the Rotero isn't that good.
Right, exactly, and that's kind of where I came around to on the Messis. Even though it's like I do actually enjoy the gold. I think like the black with the gold, I wish it was a little bit lighter. I think one of Messi's classic boots actually had like it was white, all white and gold. But with the Rotero, like even though I wasn't a fan of the colorway, like knowing what I know now, I would have bought them, right? Yeah. And I think that's kind of just what you have to do sometimes. Like I really enjoy like a boots with a white base, but like I will absolutely change what I wear on my feet for like the performance and the comfort and just like it overall being I want to say a better material, because I think some people will probably like the more like responsive and speed boot type feel, or modern speed boot type feel of like the regular F50. But I think with the years up, the two boots that are going to be talked about the most are going to be these hybrid touch F50s and probably the Rotero.
Yeah. Well, I think that the thing too is like you're kind of a leatherhead and you tend to like leather boots. So I think that overall, especially with how your feet are, that the Messi ones are just going to be a little bit more comfortable, because even though they're synthetic, they're very like, if you've tried Hybrid Touch 1.0, like it's a good faux leather. But I just think that with how your feet are and how you like it, that's what you're used to. So when you have these like super plasticky DaySpark F50s, I just think that it's just wearing your feet out because you're not used to that sensation.
Yeah, that could be another thing where it's like, what the heck? Because any leather boot that I've tried, I've usually had like one day maybe break in time. I'm trying to think of a leather boot that I needed more. The Copa Pures, I needed more time, but that's a different animal. But yeah, the two boots that I championed, probably like you and the Rotero, into the ground were when the 442 originally released. I wore that until I had to throw it away. Same with the Montebelluna. I wore that until it had a big hole in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's what I want to do, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. It's hard. It's frustrating, but I would say keep the gold ones, because I definitely like the gold ones better than this Hulk colorway.
Yeah. I think I saw, who was it? Somebody posted, I think it was Ricky. Ricky had a recent story where I was just looking at him. I was like, dude, those do look good on feet. So yeah, maybe I'll keep the gold. Dude, speaking of leather and faux leather, I was listening to James and Subs and Andrew on the most recent Football Boot Hour podcast. Go check those guys out. They're awesome. And Andrew's talking about how, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, there's rumored Nike ordering a bunch of kangaroo leather. Right? Do you think that they are they going to give up on the synthetic leather? Is it not doing as well as they want? Do you think we'll see a fusion skin type Fly Touch plus mixed with a version of kangaroo leather?
I don't know, man. I don't like. Okay, let's just. I wore the Tiempo a little bit, and our friend Footloose Boots wanted me to test them out, so I told him I would. So the short synopsis, and the reason I brought this up is because I don't hate these as much as I thought I did. I don't love them yet, but I don't hate them anymore. But with that being said, this is not selling at all. Like, I found the launch colorway. This is a good colorway, right? I can still find this in almost every size. That blue colorway, I love it. I think it's super classy. And, I don't like blue boots.
Right.
But I would buy that one. The pink one you can still find. The bone one you can still find. Dude, I've still found emeralds. I can't find pearls.
Right.
But I can find emeralds. You know what I mean? So it's just like, somebody has made an error, and I don't know how Nike is going to word smith it to where they're like, hey, we were wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm trying to, like, be polite and try to, like, finagle my way of how to say this, but they're going to be, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they can do.
Yeah, well, here's my thought on it, right? Well, because they can't say that they're wrong, because they constantly have to convince people that, like, they're moving forward. And if you bring it back, you're moving backward and having to admit you're wrong. But also there's the conundrum of, if you take that kangaroo leather and you take some Fly Touch Plus and you put it together, and they're not going to call it Fusion Skin, obviously, but that's an Adidas thing, right? So it's almost like you're going to get called out on saying like, hey, this was their idea.
See, that's why. Okay, so rewind. So fusion skin is knit fused to leather.
Okay.
So it's not synthetic. So they wouldn't use Fly Touch Plus at all, I don't think, unless they did like kind of like a seam. And then there's like, yeah, they could do something like that where they could have like a seam line here and then like to here. This could all be leather and then the rest could be flight. But anyways, but I mean, that's essentially what their TechCraft boots were. And nobody has ever liked those.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe they're bringing back the TechCraft as kind of like a, I don't know, like a pivot point to see how people do and be like, oh, you know, we learned so much from TechCraft that we were able to implement, you know, do their fancy wordsmithing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how. It's like they've dug a hole and there's literally, I don't know how they're going to get out.
Right. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know. You know, we'll see if those rumors are true. If they're buying kangaroo leather, there's only one boot they can put it on, unless they're going to put it on the Premier, which I don't think they'll do that. That's a cheaper boot. They're going to keep that as cheaper leather that's not imported. So
did they switch that to synthetic too? Or did I hear that wrong?
It's either synthetic or it's a cheaper leather.
Okay.
I don't think they ever confirmed.
Okay. Yeah, man, I don't know. Nike's in a really weird spot with you. I mean, honestly, I think they should just kill it. To be totally frank, just kill it. You already ruined it. Just kill it. Come up with something new. Make that your new kind of, because that's kind of what the Phantom is for me. Like the Phantom is in this weird spot where I feel like that's kind of Nike's like guinea pig boot, where they just tried new things on, and if it hits and people love it, then they're like, okay, cool, we'll bring it to other things. But if it doesn't, they're like, don't worry about it.
Right.
Like we'll just come out with a new gen.
Yeah. Just completely like scrap it, change it to something entirely new.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, think about it though. Like the Vision and the Venom to the GT, and then the GT to the GX, and then the GX to now the GX, well, GX and Luna, GX2, Luna 2. Those are all very different boots.
Right. Yeah. The Venom in that, it's different entirely. Like the Vision, like you could see like kind of some elements in the Luna, but like the Venom is just gone.
Yeah. The Venom was like their attempt at bringing back like a T90 early Hyper Venom, I think. But yeah,
that
was such a good boot.
I would have thought that would have stuck around. Yeah, that would have stuck around more than the Vision boots. So I don't know what happened with that. I had the indoor version of those, and they were very good.
I had a couple pair of outdoor. I think I sold all of mine actually. I had a couple pair of outdoor ones, and I loved that boot. It was such a good boot, so underrated. But it was also like that was a COVID boot, you know. So it's kind of hard to push products whenever COVID was happening. So
yeah,
I think it was just one of those why it was like a really good product that came out at the wrong time. And it has like a cult following now. So if you look, like even resale prices for those are starting to go back up. They're harder to find.
I don't think I was a fan of a lot of those colorways either. It was like they had a lot of like bright yellows and bright oranges, and it was like the whole thing was covered pink and black. It just wasn't. I think the only one I really liked was that where they went back and did all of the re-releases. So the one that actually looked like a total 90 boot.
The white and black one?
Yeah.
Dude, I found that one at fun fact, I found that one at an outlet for $100, and I bought them. And I wore them like a couple of times, and that's where I fell in love with the boot. And I went to pull the laces, and the fucking fly wire is like how you looped it. It just snapped.
Ugh.
And so I couldn't tie the laces anymore. So I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So I returned them and got a voucher, and I got some other ones, but that was a good colorway. That was a good colorway.
Yeah, that whole era didn't have a lot of good. There were a lot of bad Tampa Legend 8s that were like just bad colorways in that era too. I'm glad we're not there anymore. But yeah, man.
Okay, well I'm gonna talk to. So quick rundown if you didn't see my stories. We had our first outdoor game. I started the first half in the Roteros, absolute beast of boots. Then in the second half, I tried to be fancy. I switched to a boot that matched our jerseys, and I switched to the Zidane Absolutes, and I was ass, bro. And we've talked about this, like your boots can really affect you. As soon as I got a sub, I switched to the Legend 10s because I was playing so terrible in those Zidanes, like night and day from where I was at with the Roteros.
Right.
So like, yeah, these they're getting retired already. One
So
game, half a game, they're retired.
You made 3 boot switches in a game?
Yeah. Yeah, I wore the Roteros the whole first half. I had halftime, so I switched to the Zidanes. And in the Zidanes, I wore probably out of that whole second half, probably like 35 minutes, so most of the second half. And then I came off, and then I went back on and I finished the 10s.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever brought like 2 boots. Like I'll usually bring like one pair I want to try, and if I do bad, I'll immediately go to the pair that I'm used to, and then yeah, that's it. I don't think I've ever made 3 boot changes in a game.
Oh,
before.
Normally I don't change that much, but I was like, I've been wanting to wear the Zidane, so I need an excuse. But yeah, no, I normally take a couple pairs. Like I had the GXs with me too. Like I always keep things that it's like, oh, I can fall back on those. You know what I mean? But yeah, these are gonna be. It's like why did I doubt these? You know what was I thinking? Because these never have let me down.
If anybody's listening to this podcast and you've ever made more than 3 boot switches in a game, please comment and let us know. Because
that's the most I've made. I've never made 3 before. I've done 2.
I would be impressed if somebody's like, I made 4 boot switches in a game. I would be super impressed. I'll bring it up on the next podcast. I will.
Yeah. There's a guy that plays in the same league as me. He's on a different team, but he's really big. He's a big boot nerd too, because we talk about boots. But he has worn the Red Predator Mania remakes, the Blackout Accelerators, and then what other boot has he worn? He's worn one other Pred remake, and he's like a big Pred head, and he will switch his boots first half, second half. What other? Oh, he had the what was it? The X Crazy Fast. Like, you remember the one that was like half green, half red?
Yeah.
He had that one too. Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
That was a launch one or something, right?
Yes, it was like the limited launch. Yeah. Those were cool.
I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan. Maybe I just don't like half and half boots. Maybe that's why I didn't like the Rotero. If they just kept it like that, like gunmetal, like with the blue on the whole thing, I would have really liked it. But
you know me, I like those half and half boots.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Fan. And then speaking of, all right, so if you've been keeping up with the story, our friend MD Boots over in the UK, he does boot raffles, right? And he raffles off like the most random stuff and random sizes. And so we've been talking. Sorry, my contact's messed up. We've been talking, and I told him, I was like, dude, I really want to take part in a raffle, but you never have my size. And he's like, well, what are you? And I was like, USA. He's like, okay, let me look. So, like, what is it now? 3 weeks ago, Colby? Two or 3
Maybe
weeks?
2 weeks ago. Let's say
2 weeks ago. He hits me up. I was with my family at the zoo. Took the kids. Took the wife, and he's like, "Hey, I got your size. Like, you want to do the raffle?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, and I've got terrible signals. You know, it's super spotty. I'm like, "Yeah." So he sends me the card. He's like, "Okay, pick your team. You know, go for it." And I'm like, "Give me United, of course. You know, give me United."
Yeah.
And then he messaged me back. He's like, no, sorry, it's already gone. Like, it took too long. So I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, just give me this. And he posted the message, but I said, give me Huber, whatever. And it was like Hibernian, some random team. Never knew. So he messages me the next day on the story, and he's like, congrats on Huber or whatever. And I won. I'm sure y'all can see it in the background, but I won the long limited edition Predator 30s. And hot dang, are they a beaut, bro. These are buttes.
The box, when you FaceTimed me.
I did. I was so excited.
The box was the most epic thing.
Dude, it was huge. The box, okay, so the big black box, everybody, the briefcase, comes in a bigger cardboard box with like foam to hold it. And then that big cardboard box came in a bigger cardboard box from MD Boots.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of boxes.
Which was a lot of shipping. Don't tell them how much shipping it was, but yeah, still.
Yeah, so
it's pretty legit though to have that right behind you in the studio.
Thanks, bro. I need to figure out a way to like show it off more because it is super cool. But yeah, I got pair. In case anybody cares, I got pair 1628.
Nice.
So yeah, I've used all my luck for the year because I had to pay a ton for a plumber last night.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you guys don't see the box behind Justin in future episodes, it means he cashed out. He's a total sellout, and he made all of his money off those boots.
Absolutely. If anybody wants to pay those resale prices, I will sell it to you for that resale price. If not, they look nice. But shout out to MD Boots. That was awesome. Thank you so much for letting me take part in that raffle.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. All right,
Yeah,
Colby. Well, what else you want to talk about? Because, again, it's light. We felt like this was going to be a short episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be a short episode. The only other thing I had today, and we've already talked about it because there was a leak and then there was an unveiling. But Mbappe is officially in his like signature Vapor 16s, the yellow and what is that, red? The red Air.
They're the ones that look like that Blaze colorway for the GX, right?
Yeah, I thought the Blaze colorway for the GX was a lot better. Like it was better done. Like that yellow, it was almost like a yellow, but like a little tinge of orange. And then it had the black swoosh. And this is, I don't know. I'm not feeling this one for some reason. He
normally goes very cartoonish, very, I don't want to say kid friendly, but a lot of his colorways are very like. They're appealing to a younger audience.
Right. And there was a blue one last year that was like Zoom. I forget what it was. It had the big Zoom lettering.
The comic book one?
Yes. It was very, very cartoonish, like you said.
Yeah. Not a fan. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, we saw who found them. Somebody found them at Dick's in our friend group, and I don't remember who it was. But we've seen them. Overall, you have to score 1 to 10, 1 being absolute dog water, 10 being, I don't know, Ronaldo's face. How beautiful are they?
Oh, I'm gonna go with 3. I'm not gonna completely like destroy them, but yeah, they're not my favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna go 2 or 3 with you.
And he's normally like they're not the best looking boot, but they're better than this. Like he had was the first signature pair he had that like white that had the green like turtleish on the bottom.
Turtle.
Those were cool.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie right now. The only Mbappe boots I think I've actually cared for are the pink ones that he had, which were just an homage to the old school Vapors. You remember those?
Yeah. Did they have like a little bit of a lightning swoosh to them?
Yeah. They had the lightning swoosh with the silver accents.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think that's like the only colorway of his I've ever really cared for.
You didn't like the Ninja Turtle looking ones? No. I thought those were cool.
No, you know whose boots I was a fan of? That had a signature colorway? Jadon Sancho's. Woo.
Yeah.
They're blue, but they're beautiful.
They're beautiful, but he missed that penalty, dude. In the Community Shield. Life or death situation.
It was a good save.
It was a good save.
It wasn't like Johnny Evans just sky that bitch.
Look, man. You wheel Johnny Evans out there at freaking late 30s, possibly 40, 50 years old, and that's what he gives you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Johnny Evans is not supposed to probably play more than like 5 games, and the poor guys had to play like every game.
I think one time you guys subbed him in and then subbed him out.
Yeah, we did. Because he got hurt. It was like he covered for somebody else's injury, and then he got injured.
Hey, he's playing more minutes than Reece James, who has some sort of another hamstring injury. I'm like,
dude. So same with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's out again.
Yeah.
I can't with these guys.
But even Luke Shaw's got to be like 30 by now. Reece James is like 24. I'm like, you're broken. I've seen this before. Daniel Sturridge could not stay fit for more than like 3 games in a row, maybe if we were lucky. Some people, man, I don't know what it is. It's just like their bodies. It's just too much.
Because you know what it is? Yeah, Reece James is 24. Luke Shaw's 29. You know what it is? It's because they spend too much time in the gym, and they get so bulked up, I think, that they just can't carry their own weight the way that they normally could.
Right.
Reece James put on a lot of muscle mass. But I also watched I think it was an England training camp video, and you know how like sometimes it'll show them like working out and playing 2-touch and doing yoga and this and that. And she did like a really basic like yoga pose, like pull your leg in and like touch your toes. And Reece James was like so stiff and tight, he couldn't. Like, he looked like an old man. He was just like, like that was like the extent of his movement. And I was like, bro, you need to get on it.
Dude, for real. That's when you pull, like, I don't want to, put this as a football podcast, but did you ever read any of Tom Brady's book? Like, no. This was maybe like 5 years ago. His whole thing was pliability, where he had a guy, because like rich people, they have a guy, right?
Yeah.
And he would just literally just get him to like soften him up. He would soften them up. He'd stretch it a little bit, but he'd still be bouncy. And he would talk about how these running backs that were putting, like 400-pound squats in the gym were so tight. Like you're saying, they're so tight. And so when they run and they get hit, they get injured. Mm-hmm. But he wanted it to be super pliable so that whenever he took a hit or something, he was going to be okay. It's almost like a little bit of give.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And I've heard if you're too limber, like you stretch too much or too deep or whatever, you can get injured that way too because you don't have any rigidity. But I've always heard that you need to be loose, but not I guess too loose. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Then you'll dislocate your shoulder like me. Yeah, Ooh. You were there when that happened, right? I dislocated my shoulder in that game, and then I had to pop it back in and go back in because we had 1 sub or 2 subs.
Dude, this is totally off topic, but I saw that video of Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam pop her shoulder out of socket and then run into the announcer's booth to pop it back in. Mm-hmm. It was gnarly. She's a baddie.
Okay? So yeah, that's badass. I popped it back in at one of our games, but I want to say that in the moment, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad until the next day. Yeah. So when you're running on adrenaline and stuff like that, I think when we were playing, I'd been playing for the first, it was in the second half.
Yeah, I remember.
And so I was good and warmed up, and already kind of had the what do you call it, the endorphins going, and so it's not bad if you can get it in pretty quickly. It hurts if it hangs out for a long time, but the next day it sucks, and gripping stuff sucks, and raising it sucks. You have to wait over a week for it to feel somewhat normal.
Yeah, I always feel when you pop it in, the moment it pops back in, that's where it hurts the most. Mm-hmm. On the initial injury.
Well, you're trying to get it settled. That's the hard thing. Is it's nope, and then finally oh good, and you kind of get a little relief, but then it still stings. So
well, Colby, we're getting old, man. We're getting old. We're falling apart.
Yeah.
They don't make us like they used to.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah. Going real quick. Have you watched me run? If you ever watched me run, that's why I kind of keep my arms so close. My wife, when she watches me, she calls it my lucky fin. She's like, "Oh, you got your lucky fin," because I have to keep it really close so I don't dislocate it as easy.
No, I don't think I've ever noticed that.
It's a sad life.
I do watch though that you are on your tiptoes a lot when you run.
Heck yeah, dog.
Great form.
Thanks,
great form. Love it. Colby, the people love you, and they want to know where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Kicking with Colbs on Instagram and on YouTube.
And you can find me at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And you can find us at the Bootcast Pod on Instagram.
Yeah.
And with that, we will update you guys next week on Colby's Messi boots, and I will update you on 4 boot changes per game.
Yeah. Oh, I will also have Vapor 16s next week.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, so tune in next week. And until then, guys, see you on the next one.
See you guys.